And today's guest on the Financial Planner Live podcast is Louise Headifen from Foster Denovo. She is a Paraplanning Manager looking after 15 in her team. And she talks about her career development. She talks about what she looks for when it comes to skills over job title when she grows her paraplanning team.
I work very hard, so I do expect the same standards from the team. If you say to me in the interview, and I really do like honesty, you want to become an advisor, I will do everything I possibly can to facilitate that.
We talk about paraplanner to financial planner and why here at Foster Denovo they don't hold you back when it comes to career development within the business.
It was an incredibly steep learning curve, especially when I didn't really do anything with pension transfers and things, so...
You're going to love this episode if you're a career paraplanner or you're a paraplanner looking for your next opportunity. Louise, thanks so much for joining me today in London at Foster Denovo to talk about your career within financial planning, specifically paraplanning, because you're a paraplanning manager, right?
I am, yes.
Well, fantastic. Well, like I say, thank you for taking the time out to share your career journey. I'll tell you what, let's kick things off. Introduction. Who are you? What do you do? How long have you been here? What's going on in your world?
Well, let's start with the simple place. I started here in July 2020 during the first lockdown as a paraplanner. And from there, I guess just built on my knowledge, what I did, what I could do, inspiring relationships with other paraplanners and advisors, where I was made up to team leader. Mm-hmm. And from there, again, obviously Foster Denovo saw something in me and they thought, hello, we'll stick a manager in that job title. And I have loved every minute of it so far. It's been hugely challenging. It's been hard work, but it's been really enjoyable. And as I said, I've loved every minute of it.
Well, very typically Foster Denovo to push somebody forward in their career. It's definitely a career of growth here at Foster Denovo. Everyone I speak to seems to be stepping up or moving forward or developing their skill sets as the business grows with their investment and their huge ambitions of being, a leader within financial planning. It's definitely that environment if somebody wants to push forward. Were you a manager beforehand then? Did you do any kind of management at all?
No, I've had responsibility for things like getting involved in project work. So there's one firm I was with where we looked at our client documentation and we discovered that we had umpteen amounts of different bits of paper for different types of business. So I put that into it was an Excel spreadsheet, and I did some VBA coding, and you could tap in what you needed and it would bring up all of the documents. So it cut down a lot of time, and I knew eventually that would be just some clever chap in IT would make that disappear and just become part of the fabric of the back office sorry, the back office system. So I've always done things like that. I've always done a mission creep on my job description because I like challenges, I like changing things, I like creativity, and so that's why I can't just stop with what my job description says.
So before you joined Foster Denovo, where were you and what were you doing then?
I was predominantly working for the DFM, so I started in the City of London, so I worked with some of the big investment houses, and through no fault of my own or his, I had a relationship and we split up, and I just decided to take some time out. So I did a university degree, medieval history, and then I got into a firm in Tunbridge Wells. So they were a DFM, but they also did the financial advice, and I was on the financial advice side of things. And that's where I started to move into, I suppose, the world of the IFA. And I left there in 2016. And at the time I was living up in the north, and that's where I actually did fall into the IFA World properly, and that's when I became a paraplanner on a 100% basis. So it was an incredibly steep learning curve, especially when I didn't really do anything with pension transfers and things. So, but
Get stuck
here
in.
I am.
This is it. Well, fantastic. So that transition from DFM into paraplanning.
Yeah.
And once you found paraplanning, did you think, well, this is it. This is where I want to be?
No, that would be a lie.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I like the finding a solution, but it wasn't the be-all of what I wanted to do. I wanted to mentor people. I wanted to bring people on. And I think with the work that I did with colleagues and things, obviously FD saw in me that I had that potential, and that's what we've built on. And at the moment, I kind of mother the team.
Okay, right.
So, their welfare is my paramount concern. So,
Okay. So how many people are you managing?
I manage 15.
15 paraplanners?
So there's 2 team leaders, and there's 9 paraplanners, and we've got 3 starting. I've got one that we're going to be recruiting for in Scotland.
Okay.
So it's fast growing. I've got trainees potentially elsewhere in the business who want to come in.
So the paraplanning team isn't slowing down then, really?
No,
Lots of acquisitions going on, growth going on here at Foster Denovo.
It's incredible, the work that's coming in. It's also incredible the quality of the work that's coming out as well. The standards haven't dropped. But yeah, it's a really busy, focused team, and the morale is incredibly high.
Brilliant. Let's talk about you as a manager then. You found your calling in management. It sounded like it was something that you wanted to do. And again, brilliant that Foster Denovo has seen that within you and encouraged you to move into that position. What would you say your management style is?
Open and responsive, I would say. I'm also I'm quite a fun manager. I work very hard, so I do expect the same standards from the team. But I'm famous for putting GIFs on Teams messages. I mean, the other day somebody asked if they could have an addendum checked, and I went, "No, it's a Thursday." So there's just joking about. But I also encourage people to ask questions. So even if I know the answer to a question, I will put it on the Teams chat just to encourage people who are new, shy, not so confident with asking in an open forum. So, and I'm not scared to get things wrong either.
So within paraplanning, you often think about, I used to see job adverts, it says, I'm looking for a paraplanner. And then the job title would be the same job title every single time, the same job description every single time. And over the years, I've come to recognise there could be multiple job roles within paraplanning, and they're using the same job title every single time. So within your paraplanning team, are there sort of multiple jobs? Are there different layers to it? Do you hire at different layers? If so, can you kind of break down what career development looks like, what the different role types are within your paraplanning team?
Well, if I start at the beginning, because that's where a journey starts, we've got our trainee paraplanners. So inevitably they have actually come from within Foster Denovo. And they've worked on the admin side of things. So from their perspective, they have a little bit of knowledge of financial services, and it's our role as the team to engender their knowledge, bring them up to be able to write reports on their own. Obviously, at the level that they are at, they're fairly simple from what I would be able to write. The next step up to that is a junior paraplanner. So they're kind of halfway, 2/3 of the way through their qualification to be diploma level 4 qualified. And they're getting involved in a little bit more, lot more technical. They may even, and this has happened on the team, that they'll have a direct relationship with some advisors. From then, once you're qualified, or it depends on your experience, you become a paraplanner. Now, this is where you can start thinking, I'm just going to be a career paraplanner, I'm happy where I am, or you're going to start thinking about your specialisms, perhaps even start your chartereds. And then once, again, this is all to do with experience, not necessarily a qualification, but our senior paraplanners, they are subject matter experts. So you've got that in our team, we've got protection, we've got estate planning. We have one guy, James, he's absolutely phenomenal when it comes to the technicalities of anything. But Jack up in the northeast, she's our estate planning guru. Lucy in London is protection. I have Jeremy, who deals with really technical way of writing something for a client. He's also, he's obviously knows his stuff as well. So, and Nilesh, who was an accountant in a former life, and so he is absolutely amazing when it comes to knowing how to deal with tax. So, with that in the team, it's people. Just because you're a trainee doesn't mean you can't give input up. We certainly get it coming down because we want everybody's knowledge to be high. We want it to be a centre of excellence, which it's turning into.
Fantastic. So everyone learning from each other.
Yes.
Yeah. You can, even the roles overlapping slightly, which is what you kind of want, isn't it? So that clear line of sight to the next the next stage in your career. So someone could come in as an administrator and work their way up through the paraplanning team, and it doesn't stop there. So let's say, for example, there's a lot of paraplanners. It's like 9,000 in the UK, right? And we've obviously got an advice gap. In my head, there's quite a lot of people in those paraplanner roles that are female as well, right? I think 80% of them are female, actually. So there's clearly a great opportunity there to get more women into financial advice roles, into financial planning roles. So there seems to be a clear area there. Technically sound. They know what they're doing. They've done the reports and fact finds and all of that. Why not move them into financial planner roles? Now, as a Paraplanning Manager,
I encourage it.
You encourage it?
Yes.
Well, that's good to hear, because sometimes paraplanners can often be told that they're going to be progressed into financial planners when they want to be, but often because there's such a shortage of them, they're kept in those roles longer than they should.
No, I mean, from my point of view is whether you're coming from an internal position or recruiting external, if you say to me in the interview, and I really do like honesty, you want to become an advisor, I will do everything I possibly can to facilitate that. I mean, obviously, the opportunity's got to be there first and foremost. And we do have the academy to become, to train as an advisor. But it's getting onto the academy, isn't it? It's like everything. But I will position you when I know that there's things going on. I can't say what things are, but I can position you into positions where you're in front of advisors who absolutely want to bring people on themselves. So the obviously, like everything, you want to progress your career, you have to progress your career. But I can do everything I possibly can to help you.
Fantastic. So within that paraplanning team, you've got the career development in paraplanning, but entwined within that is the opportunity to move into financial planning, is what you're saying. And as a company, they encourage that. It's not something you hold people back on.
No.
And in fact, let's go back to that interview stage, right? Because you've just done some interviews recently. So if someone's in the meeting and they're saying they're a paraplanner and they're coming into the business at Foster Denovo as a paraplanner, but in the back of their mind, they've got aspirations to become a financial planner. You would say, well, tell me that.
Yeah.
Tell me that, because it's not going to stop you from getting the job.
Of course it's not. It's I mean, how with the recruitment, I've looked at it as an individual coming into a team, because that's what you are. You're a person. So I know I've got career paraplanners. I know I've got somebody who wants to go into a compliance function. I know somebody who wants to become one of our business quality experts. I've got somebody who wants to become an advisor. So if I don't know what people's aspirations are, one, I'm not a good manager. And secondly, how do I help them? How do I speak to other managers and go, oh, have you spoken to XYZ? Because I think they'd be quite good in that role.
You mentioned to me about hiring based on skills and not job title. What do you mean?
Well, A CV tells me what you've done, doesn't tell me who you are. And when, with this rapid growth that we're undertaking, it is so important to maintain the culture and the stability of the team as well as the company as a whole. So I have a colleague whose company as well was going into big expansion, and they concentrated on getting people in. And it's become quite an unhappy environment to work in, shall we say. Whilst here, I've recruited somebody who's got 2-3 years of paraplanning experience. He's in his early 20s. Now, with my next recruit, I was in my back of my mind saying, I'd have to get somebody with a bit more experience to counterbalance that, you know. And the lady who's starting up in the Northeast, absolutely lovely. And she fits in wonderfully with the crew up in Newcastle. But also importantly, you know, she fits in with the team. So it's like a game of chess. You move one piece, and that affects the balance on the board. So it's really heartening when you see the existing team and they go, yeah, that was a really good hire, that one, that was really good, and we really like working with them, you know. And touch wood, I haven't had any issues yet.
It's all about complementing, isn't it? Complementing
Yes.
each other. And that's the key thing, is recognising what those skills that individual has that might well be lacking in that team, and also within yourself as well.
Well, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, and people might find this shocking, but I actually do recruit to replace myself.
That's a great idea.
Because, you know, I mean, obviously I'm only 21. I've got ages to go yet. But, you know, there is a retirement plan, and you have to be sensible. You have to look forward. I'm working for a company that's moving forward. I want to move forward too. I have a team that I want to bring with me. So
I always made the mistake of hiring people that I felt were like me, like almost like I was trying to find people like me, and often that was a nightmare, whereas I should have been trying to hire people who were better in areas that I was weak. And now I look for that. You know, I don't need another person next to me who's super creative. I need someone next to me who's super organised and can execute my creativity. You know, because I struggle with operational stuff. I struggle with processes. You know, I live in the creative mindset. You know, and that's where I am.
And this is why I'm a career Paraplanner manager, because there is a completely different skill set to being an advisor. And we both do exactly the same job at the end of the day, which is to give the best advice that we can for the client. Everything is in their best interest. Me and the advisor that I work with, we come at the same issue from different angles. You know,
We spent a lot of your time in meetings with financial planners. Is it something you encourage the team do?
I have, and I do. I mean, we haven't been taken up on it recently because of the workload in the team, but it's certainly something that if you needed me to go through a voyant or do a bit more of an admin-y thing for clients, then I would. That's why you would bring me in. You know, sometimes you're sat in front of a client who will not speak, just give you the basic. And if you've got somebody else in there, that it kind of helps to change that dynamic, you know, because then you're starting to look at two people, and then out of two of you, they're going to have a rapport with one of you, you know. So, and but it depends on who the client is, who you're sat in front of. You know, you don't want to be going to every single one. But I mean, in the previous place, I used to. The advisor I worked with, we had a lot of the older clients, so from the newly retired grey-haired teenagers to unfortunately the end of days, and obviously in that age group, people pass away, and you'd find whether it's male or female, you know, by just having somebody female in the room, that they would open up and be able to talk about things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's why we need more women in those meetings with clients, because it's a whole different dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm doing a podcast at the moment. We're producing one for the PFS. Women in Wealth, I think you're going to call it. There's 4 women sitting around talking about their careers within financial planning and their perspectives. So I was sort of sat there thinking, oh, I'm looking forward to this. I've interviewed women on my podcast before, but I've never sat and listened to 4 women talking about it. It's me asking them questions. And as soon as I sat back and listened to 4 women talking about their careers within financial planning and their perspectives and how they bounced off each other, it was completely different. I was like, oh my God, it's like I've been let into some kind of secret club, a different perspective. That was what it was.
And that's what it is, yes.
And I think that's what's needed, is more women in leadership roles talking about what it's like working in the financial planning profession, how they progress through the difficulties and the issues that they might have come up against, how they overcame them, the challenges, the perception that they might have had throughout their careers. I think we talk about menopause and all sorts of stuff.
I know.
So it's like it was a great, interesting insight into the career of those that work within the profession. But also, they were talking a lot about the clients, how the clients respond to female financial planners, male and female. So look out for that one, because it's going to be a fantastic podcast, and I hope they continue on with that.
I mean, like my dad, mum and dad are in their late 70s, so my dad's very receptive to male or female advisor. But you'll find some men a bit older than that really aren't comfortable at all. But when you're in a situation where they're recently widowed, it's amazing how they'll open up to a woman rather than the male advisor. And there's nothing wrong with what the male advisor's doing whatsoever. But it's just the way the human brain works with the
I can understand that.
With the male and female, it's
more empathic in that situation, and I think it would be easier for a guy who's just lost his wife to open up to a woman without a shadow of a doubt. Opening up to another man would be quite difficult. I think you would seek a woman more so than a man. See,
a woman, I mean, I've done this myself. I've taken their hand in a meeting just so they can control themselves, and a male advisor perhaps wouldn't have even, oh my goodness.
No,
I would never have thought that. And I do believe in equality, and everybody's got their skill sets. Everybody's got a positive and a negative. And, I know this is off topic now.
No, it's fine. This is good. It's completely on topic. It's completely on topic. I think, you're absolutely spot on, because I'm just thinking in my head, would I have a woman's hand if she was upset? It's strange, isn't it? It's like you just probably wouldn't. So actually, if a female could hold a woman's hand
and a male's
hand. So actually, I think the dynamic of male and female is always brilliant to have as a double act when you're in any kind of meeting, because it's perspective, isn't it? It's and like exactly the same as well. I think women are quite good at identifying areas where there might be vulnerabilities as well, which is hugely important in any kind of meetings. Is there financial vulnerabilities? Those are key things as well that are really, really important now in financial planning meetings.
Well, in our team meetings, we have 2 proper ones a week, which is about the workflow and how people are dealing with their cases and things. And we have a daft one on a Friday morning, afternoon, whenever. And I watch everybody closely when they're talking. And I will send a message to Martin or David and go, can you just drop in and see that they're okay? Because sometimes I think if I drop in, it's like, oh my God, the manager's calling, why?
Yeah.
But and it's funny, people think that they can hide themselves away on a TV screen, but actually it's just as difficult as in real life.
I pick up on things like that. Really, I'm quite empathic. I'm kind of like I sense it. Like I almost feel it, and I can predict things. And I think some people have got it, and some people haven't. But I think also as well, as a business owner or manager, you've also got to learn to understand what you can and what you can't do, and then also how to direct people to the help that they might need as well. You can't fix everybody's problems. No,
you can't. But what you can do is give them the space in order to fix themselves. There's people come into work, and in fact a lot of people come in to forget what's going on in their private lives. But sometimes you do get the overspill, and if you're aware of it, and we do have a very open and honest team, it's amazing what your work colleagues will pick up the slack on this one. I'll take that report, don't worry about that. And it's quite powerful.
Yeah. When I ran a recruitment company, recruitment was always notorious for work hard, don't talk about your emotions type thing. So anyway, I went through bit of troubled time in my life. I do a lot of work with Talk Club, which is the men's mental fitness charity.
Oh, yeah.
So we implemented talk clubs into our business, and also then I thought, well, what else can I do? Because all I wanted to do when someone was coming in and they were having a tough time, or whether it be work or personal or whatever, I just wanted to go, I can acknowledge exactly how you're feeling because I've been there. I don't want you to feel like I'm not acknowledging it and that what you're feeling is real right now and it is going to affect your work. But I want to create a solution. I want to help you. And the key for me was to be able to very quickly signpost them, take down any barriers that would stop them getting the help that they actually needed. So things like having free counselling sessions. Yeah. So I'd quickly just put them into a counselling session, put it in front of them. It was their choice to do it. Yeah. But for me, I felt, I was doing the right thing. I was giving them access to help that maybe they wouldn't do because of the costs, and you never know if there's problems with money and all of that, money coaches, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, what can I give them that will empower them to better themselves? I used to do PTing every Monday. So I put the solutions in place, signposts to them, that I knew that I was doing my job right. And so when it came to those one-to-one meetings and everything, I could always go back and say, look, we as a business, we put this in place for you. Yeah. We understand the situation you're in, but what are you doing to help yourself and empower yourself to move past this difficulty in your life, and also create that kind of openness within the business that if someone has a problem, come forward and talk about it, because don't think you can't open up, because we're here to listen and we want you to be happy 8, 9, 10 hours of your life, your day in work. It's an important part.
And as you know, we've been work colleagues. We know each other not as intimately as friends and things, but we actually do see when you're under your most pressurised and sometimes you're most vulnerable.
100%, and you're wearing those masks all the time, aren't you? And that can take its toll. Well, listen, thanks so much for joining us today on the Financial Planner Live podcast and talking about your journey here at Foster Denovo, your career in paraplanning, and hopefully it's given an insight into people as well as to the team that you're building here. Yes. The opportunity is here for growth. I think that's the key thing. If someone's going to come into your paraplanning team, you can start at administration, you can become a career paraplanner, but there are also multiple areas that you can move within financial planning, specifically within Foster Denovo. And if you want to become a financial planner, you're not going to hold someone back.
Absolutely not.
You're going to encourage them. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time today.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cheers.